and welcome to Saturday Night Crafting. Tonight's craft is really awesome and fun. It's a great craft for all age. It can be made a bit more feminine, it can be made a bit more masculine. It's also got options where you could spice it up a bit more and add a bit more character to it. And we get to be a little bit arty-farty tonight. So we're going to have some fun, and you don't need any skills or advanced knowledge of card making. I'm going to share with you how you can make a really awesome fun card quite quick and easy, which is also great for bulk card making. So I'm using some watercolors. Whatever watercolors you've got are going to be great. They will work perfect. If you don't have any watercolors, you can take food coloring, dilute it down a little bit if you want, use a drop or two of food coloring, and that should work just fine as well. I've got some Davenport paints that I bought ages ago. I don't even know if they're available anymore. I'm using some watercolor card, but I also do switch it up and use non-watercolor cards. So whatever cardstock you've got in your stash is going to work. Obviously got a paintbrush and some water, and I'm using an angled paintbrush today, and I'll share with you a little bit why. Now I want my card base to be 5x5, so I'm just taking my cardstock, folding it in half, and cutting it down to be a 5x5 card. So that is the size of my card today. I've got this stamp set here, which I really don't think is available. It is years and years old, but I love it because it's got really funky font, and I want happy birthday. You could also go with celebrate. We're going to be making our own candles on our card. So I'm going to use a stamp platform just because it's nice, quick and easy, and then if I don't get the ink all inked up, I can stamp it again. Sometimes I find with watercolor card it's a little bit bumpy and I need to stamp it a couple times, so using a stamp platform allows me to do that. I'm also using some grey ink because I didn't want it to be too dark and too bold, so I thought I would try out some grey ink for my card for this one here. Now all I'm going to do is, it's so dead simple and easy. I'm just going to take my paintbrush. I've picked this size of paintbrush for a specific reason. I didn't want a wide angled one. I wanted a nice skinny one. Obviously your candles can be as fat or as skinny as you like depending on what paintbrush you use. And all I'm doing is just making little streaks down my card. It is really that simple. We're going to jazz it up a little bit, so don't get too bored just yet. But I'm going for 5 purely because if I do one candle in the middle, I can do 2 on either side, and it helps me to make an even looking card. And your candles are fine to be wonky. I am not a perfectionist. I am not very skilled. Wonky is fine. Now here's where I like my angled brush. I'm going to squish it like that, and it's going to make my candle flame, and it's going to look exactly like a candle flame, which is really fun. So I'm literally just going to squish it down on the top, and I get a beautiful little flame. Now you want to make sure you're spacing your brush a little bit away from your freshly painted candles, otherwise it kind of goes up and into the flame. You get that watercolor kind of disbursement. If you're using non-watercolor card, you might not actually get that because it absorbs into the cardstock so quick and easy. If you have this problem, just go ahead and take a clean little rag or a piece of tissue and just dab off some of that color, and then you can go ahead and add on a bit of that yellow again, and then that way it kind of covers up the fact that you made a little oopsie. Really quick and easy way to sort of sort that out. So there's our card. You could leave it like this if you wanted, or you could step it up a notch, which I'll show you in a minute. So the next one I wanted to do was using my metallic watercolors. These are from Arteza, but I know you can get loads of metallic watercolors all over the place now, and you can get them quite reasonably priced. So have a look and see. I'll try my best to link these down below for you. Because I'm working on black cardstock, I'm going to heat emboss my sentiment. So I've got a really nice white bold sentiment on the top. Now when I use my stamp platform, I've lined it all up using the grid lines on the back of my stamp platform, which is just a non-branded Cricut sticky mat that I cut up and put into my stamp platform, so I've got some grid lines to work with. So a really quick and easy, cost-effective way to add a bit of sticky adhesion to your stamp platform, as well as those grid lines, which can be helpful for lining up. So I have not taken my stamps off for any of my cards. I made 5 of them, I believe. I just stuck in my cardstock and lined it up at the 1-inch mark, and it was perfect every time. So here's my heat embossed sentiment. Now I can go ahead and use my paints, and I can add on my candles again. So I'm just getting all that paint onto my brush, doing one swipe, and then going to the next color and doing another swipe. And I've got my little cheat sheet above there, which I did my little samples on, so I can see exactly what my paint colors look like on black, so I know exactly what they're going to look like when I put them down, and I can get that nice kind of rainbow vision of colors. So this is really shiny, beautiful metallic paint, and you can really see it shimmer when I hold it up in the light when it's nice and dry. And when you're putting it down, it does that whole pearlescent swirly thing. So it's quite fun to put it on your cardstock and watch it as you go. So I've got my candles already, and again I'm going to go ahead and use the yellow or slightly goldish color. And I'm going to do exactly what I did before and just literally dab it down, and I get my little flames going on. So I leave that to dry, and that's what I did with the first one. I just set it aside to dry. Took about 5 to 10 minutes for it to be fully dry, and then we can move on to our next step. So there's the two comparisons there, black one, white one. So now it's all fully dry, we can go ahead and jazz it up a little bit. So if you're working with children or maybe people with dexterity issues, that's where you could stop. You could be like, oh, we're finished, this is a great looking card, and you could bulk make those as well. If you want to jazz it up a bit, you can go ahead and grab a nice black gel point ballpoint pen. I find the gel pens a lot easier, they kind of flow a lot smoother. And I'm just going to trace my candles, and I'm tracing the wonky. The more wonky you go, the kind of more intentional that wonky looks. So if I tried to draw straight lines, it would look a bit off because my candles aren't very straight. So I'm going with wonky lines with my wonky candles, literally just tracing them. Then I'm going to draw a bunch of doodles. And my doodles are wonky as well, so I think that ties in. I have no artistic ability whatsoever, so my cards often look a little bit, ooh, that's not professional, but I think it all ties together when everything's wonky. So if you're like me, don't stress about whether it looks great or not, because in the end, it kind of all ties together. So there it is, a little bit jazzed up with our doodles. We can go ahead and do the exact same thing on the black cardstock using a white gel pen. Again, these ones are from Arteza. I got a pack of 12 of them, I think, so I'm set for life now. I'm going to go ahead and outline my candles and speed up my footage here so you don't get too bored. Now, if you do enjoy my videos, please would you consider liking and subscribing and dropping me a little comment. It helps my videos to grow and my channel to grow, which then in turn gives me an income. This is my full-time income. My most favorite job I've ever had in my life. So I appreciate every one of you guys because you keep me going and you keep me being able to work from home and be also a stay-at-home mom when I need to be a stay-at-home mom. So thank you very much for all of that. Now I've gone ahead and finished off this card, and we can go ahead and start thinking about jazzing up the next one. You can really see that pearlescent shine there when I tilt it in the light. So here's that first card. They are 1-layer cards. They'll be fantastic and easy to go in the post. There's no dimension to them, so they should be a nice cheap flat rate. Now, if you want to make it more masculine or make it more feminine, you can go ahead and use sort of the masculine colors versus feminine colors. And I've got this really awesome holographic card which I've stuck behind, and it kind of highlights those colors that are on the front. Holographic card is fantastic for doing that, and there's a really awesome shop in the UK that does ship worldwide. They have all kinds of foil cards. This gold card is also from them. I'll link them down below. Their name is Rainbow Card in the UK, and there is a little discount code for you if you are the first time shopping with them. So I'll put all that in the description box for you below. Now, I'm going to jazz up this one a little bit, so I'm going to add some sparkliness to those little flames. This is the Wink of Stella pen. I do have a video on how you can make your own Wink of Stella if you are interested. I will try and link that down below for you. Now, to make it kind of look like the waxy candles are melting, I thought I would grab my glossy accents and add some of that on. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw a line across the tops of each of the candles in the glossy accents. This is a really great 3-dimensional glue that stays dimensional when you're done. And all I'm going to do is take my stylus and just drag some of that glue down, and it looks like the wax has melted. It's a really fun effect, really cheap and easy to give a little bit of dimension, a little bit of character to that front of the card. So I hope you enjoyed today's crafting, and I hope you give it a go yourself. You could go for perfection and go for some beautiful straight lines, or you could go all wonky like I have and create your own little fun collection of cards to give away to people. Again, thank you so much for joining me tonight, and I hope you do like and subscribe, and have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Take care. Bye for now.